Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Marco Alvarado, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Quinn, the Moondog Kalani. Quinn, it's been a week since our Election Day extravaganza with two of our most favorite guests.
Oh, yeah.
Gabby Elwell and Max Thogmartin, as you say, Foghorn Leghorn. How have you been since that pod? We haven't talked since.
I've been pretty good. I've just been hanging out, keeping on. Preaching peace. That's all I'm doing right now is preaching peace.
I know, yeah. I heard your Hang 10 episode at the beginning of this week, where you're pleading with people to kind of, just temper down a little bit.
There's only 2 months. A month and some change left in this year, this godforsaken year.
Yeah.
Why don't we just chill out and let it run its course?
It is interesting. It's just funny. I just the whole time you were talking about like the election on Hang 10, I just kept hearing Aaron in my head, just get over yourself. Get over yourself. Like that mentality of like people just got to get over themselves a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that, and like I said this on Hang 10, it really, the best outcome could have happened for both political parties. So,
sure.
From my perspective.
Yeah, it depends.
Not ideally, obviously Democrats ideally would have won the House too.
You mean the Senate? Because they have the House.
Yeah, that's the Senate. But, now that they control one branch and half of the other one, and the Republicans control one branch and half of the other, well, it's even Stevens. So,
yeah, it's a lot better than it was before the election. So,
right,
it's all about progress in any form. And the thing is, too, it's like you can get fixated on the things that are wrong. It's easy to do that, and it's necessary to do that at times, for sure. It's necessary to fixate on the problems, but sometimes that can get a little bit, that can become too much, and you got to just kind of take a step back and look at what is working. And it's okay to do that too, especially like you said, with only a month and some change left in the year. Why not try to be as positive as possible going into the holidays?
That's right.
Why not?
Hey, when you're prepping for the end of the world every day, you're always surprised when the sun rises.
That could ring true for a lot of football teams. The Dallas Cowboys. Dude, the Dallas Cowboys prepare for doomsday every single Sunday, and they were hoping, a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans were hoping, that this past Sunday would put the nail in the coffin of their season. But now they have a undrafted quarterback named Garrett Gilbert, who is actually very competent in his start against the Steelers and almost won them the game. Should have won them the game if it wasn't for the referees. Pretty crazy outcome.
Let me tell you, Dallas, they're trying to outrun the storm. What they don't realize is that they were Pompeii 2,000 years ago. Ain't no storm left for them to outrun. They've done got coated in ash.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. And what happened with Zeke? What happened with Ezekiel Elliott, man? I don't know.
Karma.
I wish that the Steelers would have lost that game because I really don't think that they're an 8-0 team. I really don't think that they're that good. Like, yes, they are a playoff caliber team. They deserve to be in the playoffs, 100%. But I don't think they deserve to be 8-0. They should be definitely they're definitely a 6-2 team.
Well, Chase Claypool came out of nowhere too, right? Did anyone see Chase Claypool coming out and being a legit receiver this year?
Not really, but the Steelers have a history of finding really amazing receivers, diamonds in the rough, and dusting them off and rolling them out there.
Hey, I slept on them. At the beginning of this year, I thought the AFC North was Baltimore's to lose.
Me too.
So, I thought, this was Mike Tomlin's last year in Pittsburgh.
Me too. We both predicted that. We thought that the bright spot of that offense would have been James Conner, and he's the weak link of that offense. It's crazy.
Right, and it's not like he's having a bad season either. He's having a very run-of-the-mill season.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's not He's not showing out.
Yeah. I think Big Ben, even if they go far in the playoffs, this has to be his last season, dude. Like it's
Yeah. You think then they go Trevor Lawrence maybe?
They'd have to trade
They'd
up
have to
for
lose
that.
every other game now.
Either that or they'd have to trade up. Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, there's rumors that he might sit out the draft if the Jets become the number 1 overall pick. What do you think about those rumors?
I'm not a fan of those rumors, and I'll tell you why. Because that's not the Mamba mentality.
I don't disagree with that.
That is not the Mamba mentality. That's the King James mentality.
Is it the King James mentality?
Yeah, sit around, wait for a team to get really good, and hop on board and be the final piece to get them to a championship.
I mean, I guess. But it's difficult when, I mean, LeBron James basically went to the New York Jets of the NBA when he was drafted. And
that's true.
In basketball, you can very much, like, you draft one player and that one player can change your entire organization.
But then he went to the Heat when they already had D Wade and Chris Bosh, so it was like going to the Saints.
Sure, yeah, you sign with the Saints under your own free will, yeah.
And then going back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
So back to the Jets.
Yeah.
And at this time, he's Broadway Joe. and then he gets the fuck out of Cleveland.
And he goes where? To Dallas.
It's pretty much the Lakers are the Cowboys of the NBA.
Yeah. So.
And then he goes to Dallas.
Those are apt comparisons for sure. I just think that if you're a team like the Steelers, a team like the 49ers that has a pretty solid team, but maybe is lacking a legit top tier quarterback, maybe that's your play. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't want to play for the Jets, which I wouldn't blame him, maybe you throw in a bunch of picks, you trade up to get Trevor Lawrence. He's your missing puzzle piece.
Do you think he's worth it?
Yes, I think so.
His backup DJ looks pretty good, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I mean it's Clemson. Of course his backup's going to be good.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, I can see it, man. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh yeah, I mean if you would want him to go to the Steelers out of those two teams. I understand.
No, I mean what I hate most about the NFL. Well, and I mean it's not really anything to hate, but a lot of people rag on the NFL compared to the college game because of the money involved in it.
Yeah.
So it takes, it's not amateur enough. It takes out the true sporting element of it. And I'm only speaking for me personally. If I'm the best college football player in the nation right now, Trevor Lawrence might be that. Everyone's riding high on me. Now, my sports idol is Kobe Bean Bryant. I go to where I go, and then I turn it around on my own. Now, obviously, it's kind of a crazy comparison because football is the one sport, it's the ultimate team sport. No one can turn anything around on their own.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me. It's like, it is what it is. If you really don't want to get drafted by the Jets, go through the process and fucking tell them, I don't want to play for you. Eli Manning did it when he told the Chargers, I don't want to play for you.
So you're fine with the Eli Manning approach? You're good with that?
I think a draft, it's more acceptable to do something on draft day than it is to just sit out the draft because you're afraid you might get picked by the Jets, assuming that the Jets are willing to move on from Sam Darnold.
So if Trevor Lawrence is like, hey, I'm nuts, I'm sorry, but I'm not playing for you guys. I'm not doing it.
Right, like is there any law at the combine that says I don't want to play for these people? Like you can't just tell them that, like I don't want to play for you.
No, there isn't. I don't think so.
So why not just be upfront and be like, I don't want to play for the fucking Jets?
Yeah, I mean that's what I would do.
Yeah, like.
And that would field offers. At that point, it's like either the Jets make the choice. It's like, we're not drafting this dude then, or
right,
we're trading down. And
right.
I mean, if you're the Jets, you need all the help you can get. So why not trade down and try to build around Sam Darnold?
If I was the Jets, I would appreciate that honesty, because then that lets you know up front someone else will take that value. Let's trade down. Let's maximize what we can get on draft day. For Trevor Lawrence, I imagine you can get a lot.
Especially imagine like the 49ers. The 49ers are definitely that type of team that would go for the big home run, especially because there's rumors now that Jimmy G might get released after this season.
Oh, yeah, the Niners are wheelers and dealers now, man. John Lynch is taking some plays out the less need playbook. He's a wheeler and dealer now.
Yeah, he is. So because of that, I could see them trading up with the Jets and just nabbing Trevor Lawrence.
I could see that too.
The Steelers are more of that team that will wait and sit and just allow the draft to just fall to them.
Yeah, the Steelers will wait for and take a chance on a Tommy Maddox. Or Greg Maddox, I should say.
Greg Maddox, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I do want to get to the Raiders game from this past weekend. Man, did you see it? Did you watch it?
I did not watch it. I watched the Arizona-Miami game.
Yeah, that was also a good game. But you know what happened?
I have a overview of what happened.
Dude, that game took a year off of my life.
It was nuts.
Oh my goodness. It should not have been that close. It had no business being that close, but Justin Herbert is for real.
He's the real deal.
He is legit, and it sucks because I was so happy when they drafted Justin Herbert in the draft because I thought they whiffed. I was like, here we go. We got Blake Bortles 2.0 in L.A., another couple years of mediocrity there. We'll be set. The Raiders can flourish.
12 more years of Drew Brees 2.0.
Basically. Drew Brees in heels 2.0. That's who he is.
Yeah, and stilettos.
Yeah, dude, I just hope that the Broncos stay shitty. At least keep the Broncos shitty. Because if the Broncos stay shitty, the AFC West can still be all right for the Raiders.
Well, that's pushing it a little bit. Jerry Jeudy had a monster game.
Well, yeah, I just mean at the quarterback position. I don't think that, what's his name? Drew Lock is anything to write home about.
Yeah, Drew, there's no such thing as a lock on Drew Lock.
Yeah, no, there's not. It's just, dude, even like, I hear like sports announcers talk about Drew Lock, and he's just forgettable. He's just not, a guy that people really are excited about. Like, people are just all right.
That's one team I can see making a big play for Trevor Lawrence in the spring. Denver.
Oh, yeah, that's another team for sure. I know that would be John Elway's like Hail Mary, because like I've been very vocal about John Elway on the show.
He's been the Michael Jordan of GMs.
Yes, he's a terrible executive. His one claim to fame is getting Peyton Manning and drafting Von Miller. Those are the only two great things he's done. Aside from that, he can't build an offensive line to save his fucking life. He can't find a good head coach to save his damn life. He is a terrible executive aside from those two transactions, and he would give up the farm for Trevor Lawrence. He would do it. And the thing is too, is that dude Trevor Lawrence is like exactly the type of quarterback that the Broncos need.
He looks like a Bronco.
Like literally, he looks like freaking what's that one dude? The Better Ray Bill. He looks like Better Ray Bill, dude.
He does look like Beta Ray Bill, a horse face looking motherfucker.
But I got love for Trevor Lawrence. I like watching him play.
He is worthy.
I just hope he doesn't go to the Broncos. But the Raiders are now 5-3. We play the Broncos this upcoming Sunday, and hopefully we can add another dub in the column to improve to 6-3. I think we can do it. I mean,
divisional game.
It's a divisional game, so we can't look past them. We have to take them seriously.
Is it in Denver or Vegas? The Death Star or Mile High?
It's in Vegas.
Oh man.
But I mean, the home field advantage hasn't really done too well for the Raiders this season. They've only won one game at home. It'll be interesting. And I know that for the Rams, they have a big game coming up this Sunday against the Seahawks. It's going to be very interesting seeing the outcome of that game.
Yep, Rams Mountain. We're heading up. Nope, we're not heading up anywhere. The Piss Pigeons are coming down to Stan Canyon. And we're trying to show Pete Carroll how much we hate him.
Dude, That game, I was looking at the standings. This game is huge. This is basically a must win for the Rams.
Yeah, I'd say I don't know if it's a must win, but I'd say it's a 70% need win. I'd say this is the last game the Rams can afford to lose in the division. And maybe this season, to be 100% honest with you, because the NFC is so legit this year.
I would just say that this is a must win because the Rams are one of those teams that really needs to build momentum from those 2 losses. Right? They had 2 losses in a row, correct?
No, we beat Chicago, lost to Miami.
Okay, so you have that really tough loss to a surprisingly really good Miami team that came
surprisingly
out of nowhere.
Really good Tua.
And Tua, he's for real.
The big Tua.
So I feel like the Rams really need to pounce on the wound that the Bills were able to open up.
Right.
With the Seahawks and infect that wound as much as possible to try to stymie the momentum that the Seahawks built for themselves.
Stick our fingers in it and twist it around until Russell Wilson realizes he's wasted half his fortune on his rather less than impressive body.
Sure. I'll yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you for seconding that.
But yeah, I think it's a very important game for the Rams. I just say it's a must-win because if they don't win this game, it's going to be very difficult for them to tiebreaker-wise in that division that is very, very, very competitive. So that's why I say.
Right. Well, luckily now that Jimmy G's out indefinitely.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know if it secures us maybe a 3rd spot in the division. Right now in the standings, we have the 7th seed in the new playoff format, so we're at the last seed.
Yeah.
So I'd say the charge to the postseason starts this Sunday. For many teams, I don't think just the Rams. I think for the Raiders as well. I'm sure there's other divisional games going on this weekend too.
Yeah, there's we're officially in the second half of the season now. It's about to be week 10, so
right. I mean,
things are starting to heat up for sure. The NFC West though is super competitive. Like even the Niners, who are seemingly out of it, if they win, a couple more games, they can hang and they can give teams within that division fits still, even though they're not the most healthy team. They're not a team to sleep on, as the Rams found out a couple weeks ago.
I need a Rams win this weekend, and I need a Cardinals loss to Buffalo.
Which could happen. Buffalo is for real, in my opinion.
If we could get that to happen, that would tie the Rams and Cardinals at 6 and the Rams and Seahawks at 6-3 apiece, and it would drop the Cardinals to 5-4.
Yeah.
So you're totally right in your diagnosis that this is a big weekend for Rams Nation.
If you could win against the Seahawks going into Tampa, you would feel a lot better going into Tampa than you would, especially on a Monday night game in Tampa. You'd rather win this weekend than go into Monday night riding high, because then if you go into Tampa and you lose there, then you go back home against the Niners. And that's another divisional game that is tough. I mean,
trap game, yeah.
And then after that, you got the Cardinals.
That's a tough game.
Another tough game. And then the Patriots, which the Patriots aren't, they're not amazing.
You never know which Patriots are going to show up.
Yeah. Belichick always has a chip on his shoulder. And Cam Newton, he's not been great this season, but he has figured out some ways to win in certain games, in certain situations. And then the Jets, which, you should be able to win there, but who knows? And then Seahawks and Cardinals to close it out. And so the momentum has to start now. And I think this Seahawks game is very much where it should begin for you guys. Hopefully you can pull it out for your sake.
Hopefully it begins and ends with getting pressure on Russ Wilson.
Yeah.
I'd say he's the preeminent leader for MVP.
I agree. All right. So with that being said, that is our NFL talk for this week. We're not going to do games of the week just because we started the episode off talking about NFL, and also we kind of want to just change it up, shake things up a little bit. We had to kind of rearrange some things on the fly this episode. We had some plans that, unfortunately, due to some very unfortunate circumstances, had to change around for this episode. So we're kind of going off the top with this show, with this specific episode. So no games of the week, no weekly recs, but we're kind of combining things, those two segments, and expanding upon them. And you'll know what I mean in a second. So Quinn, you're the one who suggested for us to do this segment. So why don't you go ahead and explain to the good people out there what we are about to embark on?
So, like Marco said, it's kind of a fusion of recommendations and some other chit chat. Basically, we just wanted to shed some light on some songs, maybe are lesser known. Maybe we'll talk about rather briefly, where we first heard these songs, maybe what these songs mean to us, yada, yada, yada. But basically, maybe you haven't heard of these songs. Maybe you have heard these songs, and you can't quite put your finger on where, when, or who. But that's why you got me and Marco to break it down for you.
Oh, I like that. So, what we did is Quinn sent me 3 songs, and I sent him 3. We each listened to these songs. We made sure that we had not heard... Well, actually, that's not true. There's one song each that we each have heard, but just haven't really listened to in a long time. And now we are going to divulge each other's lists one by one. So Quinn's going to talk about songs that I sent him, and I'm going to talk about songs that he sent me one by one, and we'll go one by one and talk about each other's songs that we each sent, and then we'll start a discussion based on those songs. The
first song that Marco sent me that I listened to is a song called Garden Song by Phoebe Bridgers.
Yep.
And this song, my initial reaction to it, that's how we'll start. We'll talk about our initial reaction. My initial reaction to it was that this song is super metal. Not metal in your Pantera walk sort of way, but metal in, let's draw pentagrams with, some Morton table salt on the ground. That's the kind of metal that I like. There's a duet sort of element to it with one of the most deepest, most beautiful voices I ever heard. only could have thought that maybe, hopefully, this is Satan's sweet voice finally coming to me. But alas, I do not think it was. It was an awesome song. It was super ethereal, to bring back a word.
From a couple episodes ago.
It made me think of that podcast with Lychee, so...
Ah, yeah.
Super dope song. I'm interested, Marco, if you could divulge some of your history with this jam.
Yeah, actually. So it actually came out during the pandemic. It came out I believe she released it in April or May. Because her album, Phoebe Bridgers' album Punisher, came out in June. And this was the first single off of the album. And she's a very traditional, her first album was very folk inspired and Americana inspired. And this song was a little bit of a departure from that to a degree. It took me a long time to grow on this song, or this song took a long time to grow on me, I should say. And when I first heard it, I wasn't a fan. I was like, I don't really get it. It's just, there's a lot of words and I just can't get into it. It's cool. The vibe is cool, but there's just something about it I just don't fuck with. And over time, through the pandemic, I kept listening to it. It would come on my shuffle every once in a while. I'd sit through it, and I grew to really love the song. And like Quinn said, there's this voice in the background that's super deep. And I love just her lyricism and the imagery that she weaves into this song and this the melody and the chorus. I love this song too because this chorus, the chorus in this song specifically, you don't even know it's the chorus really, because it just kind of melds into the verse. So it really sounds like there's no chorus, but then you listen to it a couple times, okay, there actually is one. It's really grown on me, and I've been wanting to show you this song, Quinn, for a long time because I felt like you would really enjoy it, because I know you're a very lyrics-based listener, and this song has some crazy fucking lyrics in it. So
this song does have some crazy lyrics. It's a pretty gangster song, actually, talking about murdering skinheads and burying them, planting gardens over their bodies. So pretty dope song. Yeah, right up my dark alley.
All right, perfect. I'm glad you like that song. All right, so next up, it's my turn with, man, which one? I'll save the one that I first listened to last, because that's the one that hit me the hardest. I'll do Year of the Cat by Al Stewart. So this song that Quinn sent me, man, where to start? I guess I'll start from the beginning of the song. It starts with this crazy, super panned left piano part that just like rings into your one ear, because I'm wearing headphones while listening to it, and it's just like, it feels like you're like off balance listening to this thing, because it's so heavy on your left side and you have no sound on your right ear at all, and you're listening to this piano just go ham in the beginning for like 16 measures, and then all of a sudden it just drops, and it's just the most full mix that I have heard in a long time. I mean, the lyrics in this too, awesome song. I'm gonna have to listen to this song like 5 more times to really gather everything that was happening here, because it was like a wall of sound hitting you, but at the same time it has that classic vibe from, I believe it came out, when did it come out, Quinn? Like the 70s, 60s?
Yeah, mid 70s.
Mid 70s. Yeah, it has that retro vibe, that just like that Phil Spector kind of that feel. It's just like,
wow,
in your face. It's massive. It's a massive song. The production on it is amazing, and I'm a huge fan of it, and I've only listened to it once. So Al Stewart, Year of the Cat. I can't get enough of this song. I'm gonna definitely listen to it after we wrap up here again, because I love it so much already. So Quinn, where did you hear this song first? What's the story behind it?
I was in botany class probably a year ago to this day here at Manoa, and the class was about fungi, and LSD and acid are derived from funguses. And so we were going into a study on that, and my teacher, who's an elderly man, was talked in length about when hallucinogenics started bleeding over into the music scene, particularly into the folk music scene. And so he put us on to some artists, and I listened to some of them, and I was like, this is all right. And then one of the like suggested videos in the queue, like, if you like this, you may also like, and one of that video was Year the Cat by Al Stewart. And I just jammed to it. I listened to it, and it is a massive song, long song, damn near 7 minutes.
Yeah, very long.
Very theatrical. It feels like it comes in 3 acts, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I love the story. I love the lyrics behind the song. I'm a sucker for a love song.
Yeah.
Or a song about love lost. And Year the Cat right in there.
Yeah, it's a great song. I recommend anybody to listen to it, even if you're not really the biggest fan of maybe more retro types of songs from maybe like the 70s. But it's a great song. Amazing. So Quinn, what's your next one that you listen to?
The next jam that I listened to, Marcos, let me pull the list back up here, that I jammed to was New Order, Age of Consent. And to me, this was the most Marco song that you had sent me. I like this song because it really, to me, to juxtapose it to your own musical stylings, which are a bit more on the down current, a bit more the late night trend.
Sure.
The late night double homicide trend. That's the downer soundtrack.
Sure. Yeah.
This jam I liked because I felt like it really encompassed your personality.
Wow. How so? Like what?
I don't know. Like it's hard to to pinpoint like what exactly about it. I don't know if it's if it's sort of genre. It kind of fits with your fashion sensibilities. I don't know. It's just hard to say. But the song itself, it just sings Marco Alvarado to it.
It's funny because this song came out in the 80s.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you associate with this song? I feel like this song really matches your personality a lot. Now, there's a bit of downer in it.
Sure, yeah. I have some inspirations from New Order, for sure.
There's a bit of downer in it.
I love New Order.
But within this song, Age of Consent, there's also other elements to it. It's not a downtrodden jam.
No, it's very upbeat, very fast paced.
It's very fast paced. It's very upbeat, but there are downtrodden elements to it.
Yeah, the lyrics for sure.
And so I think that's kind of where I drew that analogy to you. Sort of a dry downer wit. I
feel it. I mean, I understand what you mean. Personally, I mean, I've been a New Order fan since I was maybe 17 is when I first really got into them. My mom is really big in 80s music because that's when she grew up, and she would listen to new wave stuff quite often when I was growing up, but I never really paid too much attention to that type of stuff for some reason. It just didn't really hit me. It didn't really connect. But once I started getting more mature in my music taste, it really took off with me. And this song in particular, I actually didn't hear until I went to Sweden this past year. We were in this like bar called Soho Beer House. It was playing, and we were all talking around this table, and I just like stopped, and like I turned around to like the speaker, and I got up, and I started I put my head to like the speaker to hear it because there was just a lot of noise, and I figured out some words from it, and I typed it into Google, and I found it. I love the bass line that Peter Hook does in this. The bassist for New Order, the do 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 do, like that bass sound and that bass like rhythm is something that I use a lot in Downer, or I'm trying to incorporate more of that kind of New Order type of bass. So I guess maybe that's what you kind of hear and maybe associate with me, because that is something that I have taken inspiration from in the music. So
seemed like a song that encompasses you. You ever hear a song where it doesn't draw a specific memory of someone, but it makes you think of someone.
Yeah.
I feel like this song is that foreign whiff of Marco Alvarado.
Interesting. Well, that's kind of sweet. Thank you, Quinn. I appreciate that. I'm glad that this song could do that, because I don't know, it'd be shitty if there's a bad song like you heard. I don't know, fucking
a song that invokes bad memories of you, or bad.
It's been. I'm glad that it's New Order.
The Chinese chicken.
Oh,
you have
God,
a drumstick in your brain stuff sticking.
I hate that song.
Watching X-Files with no lights on.
I really thought that you were going to send me that song.
No,
I really thought you were going to. Okay.
I mean, we're doing songs that are not well known. Bare Naked Ladies is one of the top selling Canadian bands of all time.
True. Very true. Let's see.
Throw some respect on the Bare Naked Ladies.
I mean, they are of one of the best selling bands. I can't dispute that. I mean, that's a fact. I don't know why.
I feel like every Canadian band is the Nickelback of their genre.
Would you say really Rush is the Nickelback of their like genre?
Kind of. They kind of are.
Are
Tom
really?
Sawyer is to Rush what Rockstar is to Nickelback.
Dude, Tom Sawyer is metal though. Tom Sawyer's
super hard. Tom Sawyer's super hard.
That song goes dumb. That song is
Tom Sawyer super hard. Yeah, no, Rush is super hard.
Well, Tom Sawyer is a great song, so it makes sense. I guess it's my turn. Okay, so the second song that I'm going to talk about, it was difficult because Quinn actually sent me 5 songs, and I had to choose from the 5 which ones I wanted to talk about. It was very, very difficult for me to choose between this one and another one. But I chose
wildly different songs too.
All very wildly different. But Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by BJ Thomas is a song that I chose.
Blowjob Thomas.
This is a song that you probably heard, and I know that we were trying to find songs that, or talk about songs that you hadn't heard, but if you haven't heard this song in a while, listen to this song again. Because it is a very, you know, it's a classic chorus. You know, raindrops keep falling on my head, right? Classic chorus, classic beat, very Eeyore-ish. It's like, you know, that kind of like bouncy.
It's very howdy dandy.
Yes. And but this is the one part of the song that me and Quinn this
is what makes the song.
This part makes the song because honestly, as a songwriter myself, interpreting this specific portion that we're about to talk about of the song is what makes the song.
Oh yeah.
And it's the last like 30 seconds of it where it just changes into like elevator music. It's just like, dude, it's such a great change up because
it's one of the best. It's an all-time great change up.
It took me aback because I've heard that change many times actually, and after I heard it, this guy spends the entire song singing about, you know, things are going bad for me basically, but I'm not going to really let it get me down. I'm going to try to keep going. And that last portion that has no lyrics whatsoever, but just becomes upbeat and kind of like it honestly, like if you're having a bad day, you're not feeling the best, you can listen to that song and you hear that last 30 seconds and it kind of is that Monster energy drink, that Red Bull, that kind of emotional Red Bull that kind of boosts you up a little bit.
Right.
Gets you feeling a little bit happier. And that's crazy. Like that's amazing to me. So Quinn, what do you have to say about this song?
This is one of my all-time favorite songs by my brother Blowjob Thomas. Marco really broke down the song, you know, and its structure. I think it's open to interpretation, the switch up. You know, the song, the guy's, you know, really lamenting. Well, he's not lamenting the current state of his life, but he's examining it, and, he's moving forward. I always thought, the ending of the song, that switch up, that emotional Red Bull, could be interpreted one of two ways. One, it's a break in the clouds, and it is that sunlight coming through, or it's the humor at the irony of the situation, that this guy is maintaining his internal sunshine when the world around him is collapsing. And I always preferred the latter. The song, for what it means to me, it's about trying to maintain that internal composure when everything around you is going to shit. As someone with OCD, that's something I can relate to. And it's just a classic fucking jam, man. A real, it's kind of hard not to sway a little bit, loosen up the shoulders and the hips to a jam like that. Maybe even the lips if a lady's feeling lucky. You never know. You never know when my brother Blowjob Thomas comes on the old RVCA speakers.
True. Very true.
Cross-brand promotional.
I love that. I love this song, man. I'm glad that I had an opportunity to listen to it again and really dissect it. And that's interesting that you mentioned a different interpretation for that ending. It also, because of the music, it kind of reminds me of like a late night talk show. Where it's just like
old school Johnny Carson.
Yeah, where that ending, like da, 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 it's like they're transitioning, they're like getting like moving this dude off stage who just like sung about himself being sad and trying to like push through and persevere, and it's like, all right, they like get him off.
And in 15 minutes, Walter Cronkite with your local 7 News.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a jiff.
It is very open to interpretation. I guess it's just interesting. I mean, that's what makes music amazing, is the interpretation that somebody can get from, from the lyrics specifically, and also the music surrounding it. Like with going back to that Phoebe Bridgers song, like that line where she's like, and when your skinhead neighbors go missing, I'll plant a garden in their yard and I'll grow roses. And like, that lyric, like I've heard it a lot of times and I've definitely like thought about it, but for you to be like, that's metal, like that's my shit. Like I love that. And I'm like, thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that is pretty metal. Like I haven't really thought of it being like pretty like fucking dark.
Yeah, dude.
But that is dark as fuck.
Yo, people have been saying dark metal shit for a long time. Listen to my man Frankie Valli.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the Four Seasons back in the day. It's a real darkness in those lyrics, man.
What do you say?
I won't quote anything, but I recommend everyone to re-listen to "In the Still of the Night" by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Listen to the words, listen to the actual instrumentation of the song, and it's not hard to understand why it's featured in so many gangster films when people are being shot in the fucking face.
I'm gonna have to listen to that song too. Damn.
You haven't heard that song? Like, have you ever heard that song?
No, of course I have. I just haven't. Honestly, it's just one of those songs that everyone just kind of like writes off as, oh, this is a love song, you know?
Oh man, let me tell you, there's a love song. Love songs get to me more than any other jam.
Why?
A good old love song. Why? Love obtained is the greatest treasure one can ever hope to have. Love lost is one of the worst, most perpetual pits of despair one can ever experience. It taps right into the primal, the feudal heartstrings, you know, the medieval parts of our beings.
Interesting.
And it's super relatable, man. You know, everybody loves. I mean, who doesn't? You know, who at one point or another did not see an attractive another, and you know, and hear, you know, Rod Stewart or something gnarly like that.
This next song that I put on the list for you
is
that persuasion.
This is about that fucking. Let me get up close to the audience here. You ever been out with your old girl? Maybe your old boy. And it's 11:15 in the PM. And Adult Swim is playing some shit you just don't care about. Put on this next jam. Brought to you by Marco Alvarado.
Dude, I love this song. This song is so
Nobody good. By the one, the only, panty dropper supreme, Keith Drippin' Sweat.
I wanna love you. Dude, that song is so fucking legit. It's great. I love that song.
This song is straight up about fucking. like it ain't no other way to put it. There ain't even much to talk about it. You like to fuck? Then you like this song. And I think that tells us all we need to know about old Marco Avocado.
No, dude. I mean, okay, like who doesn't? Well, okay, there's some people that don't really like to, you know, be physical, but like this song to me honestly isn't about the like that subject matter. This is a straight
No. There are more layers to it. But I would reckon to gander that if I was a betting man, this song is played not often on the radio, and more often in the bordello. But why don't you fill us in on this jam?
Yeah, dude. I've heard this song millions of times because like
nice.
No, stop.
Marco the man.
No. Well, no. It's just because
all kinds of fucking.
So there used to be this radio station in Sacramento when I was growing up here called 101.1, you know, R&B and old school. And that's the station that my parents would listen to nonstop. That's all they listened to. So I grew up on Motown and R&B and funk and disco, you know, the stuff from like the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s. And that song would play sometimes on that station. And I always wondered what it was called because I was like five or six listening to this fucking music, and just like for some reason that song always for some reason that song always stuck out to me. And then when I got old enough and I started making music myself, and I was wondering, like, I kept thinking about that song, so I just said Nobody in Google, and it popped up Keith Sweat, and I was like, what? And so I listened to it, and just like the production in that song is pretty fucking good. Also, the girl who sings in it, I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but she kills the track, and there's some comedy in it, and that's why I love that song, because it's just like, if you're in the mood with somebody, great song to throw on if you're really in that mood. If you're kind of feeling like shit and that song comes on shuffle, you can listen to that song and crack the fuck up and feel a little bit better.
Is that the Marco Mood Jam?
I mean, not. I don't. That's the thing. That's not a song that I just put on just to listen to. That's a song. You're not a
fuck to the beat kind of person.
No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that that's the type of person I am. No.
I just kind of want to hear you breathing.
There's some comedy to this song. There's definitely a mood to this song, and also just the slowness. I really like slower music, slower paced stuff. I had a really big like time in my life where all I listened to was slower music, so like this fell in line with that. So
I bet that was a dope ass time, brother. I bet that was a dope ass time. If I was with you in person, I'd give you some 5.
Oh my god, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
You're interpreting this pretty interestingly, but okay, it's fine. But I'm glad you got a kick out of hearing it, because you said you hadn't heard that song. I get a kick out of it. You said you hadn't heard that song in fucking...
I don't know if it's a double A jam, but it's definitely a double D jam. Let me tell you. I got corny jokes for days.
Yeah, it seems that way. Okay. So now it's come time for our last jam of this episode. And this song, I need to preface it. This is the first song I listened to from Quinn's list. And this is, I swear to you, this is one of the most insane songs you will ever listen to in your life. And it is called Rasputin by Boney M. Right? Or Boney M.
I'm not entirely sure how to say it. I prefer Boney M.
Okay, Boney M or Boney M. Whatever it is, it's called Rasputin. Now, this song starts out with this crazy, like, gypsy mandolin lick. And they're just singing about Rasputin and Russian people and fucking, like, all this shit. And it's just like, it's from like the 70s too, and it's just like super, like the production is super bright. It's very chimey, crazy sounds coming through the speakers, and then all of a sudden, halfway through, the biggest switch up ever in any song happens, and it turns straight into like a disco funk track. And it's just like, what is happening with this song? And Quinn, I just need to know the story behind you discovering this song, because this is one of the most perplexing tracks I've ever heard in my life.
This is one of my all-time favorite songs. To be 100% honest with you, I don't have a cool story behind it. But it was given to me by one of the coolest people I know, who is my sister. My sister Kayla, one of the funniest people I know. She one day fucking put me onto this song, Rasputin by Boney M. And it was just hilarious. It was hilarious that someone could mix history and dance so seamlessly. I can't help but listen to this song and just envision me dressed like Rasputin in that shitty black robe, just fucking cutting a rug down the middle of Soul Train. I can't help it.
With like purple circles under your eyes and like a beard, Like the beard with like the mustache that goes like over your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help it. It's just a fucking awesome song. Creatively, when this song came together, I just have to take my hat off to Boney M. How you guys were able to gentrify the Russian culture into a disco jam is beyond me. But I salute you.
This song is a wild ride. Especially the first 3 minutes of it. It kind of becomes repetitive to a degree after that point, but man, that transition is something else.
It probably could be edited a little bit more, especially on the back end. But man, it's just such a wild song, you know, and it's not something that you're gonna hear today. It's just not part of the culture. It's not part of today's sensibilities or sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's a fun song.
It's a song that sounds straight off of like the new Borat movie soundtrack or some shit.
Right. Right. And it'd be fucking amazing to hear this in a club and dance to it today. It would never happen.
You never know, man.
But it would be amazing. It would be amazing.
You never know, man. There's some clubs out there that are pretty real.
Those crazy Russians.
3 great songs that you sent me, Quinn. Thank you for enlightening me. And the
Likewise.
songs that Quinn sent to me, again, are Year of the Cat by Al Stewart, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head by BJ, Blowjob Thomas, and Rasputin by Boney M.
Here were Marco songs again. Garden Song by Phoebe Bridgers, Ethereal, Haunting, Shouting Out Satan. We loved it. Age of Consent, New Order, the Marco Alvarado soundtrack, and then Nobody by Keith Sweat, the score for Clapping Butt Cheeks Worldwide.
Yep. So those are the songs that we are assigning for homework on this episode of the Closers Podcast. Thank you for listening. And as always, please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are the Closers Podcast. Next week, we're not entirely sure what's going down on the show. We may be able to reschedule the show that was supposed to be for today for next week. We're not sure about that, but definitely follow the socials so you can stay up to date on what is going to be going down for next week. But regardless, we will be here and we will be entertaining you for the hour and a half that we usually do. Thank you again for your support and for your love. We love you back. Hope you enjoy the songs. And on behalf of Quinn Kalani and the Closers Podcast, I'm Marco Alvarado. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.